signing machine that I just invented, inspired by a Chris Herring article titled Deals That Need to Happen. First up, LeBron opts out and signs with Philly to basically replace Tobias Harris. Brew, do you like that one?
Remember, he can get the max from Philly. It doesn't have to take a minimum like we were talking about Phoenix. I don't think it'll happen, but if I'm Philly, if I'm Daryl Morey, I am pulling out all the stops to recruit LeBron to Philadelphia.
Like drafting Bronny?
Well, I mean, yes, whatever it would take. Like, he would be above Paul George and Jimmy Butler on my list because I'm not operating like Joel Embiid is 30, which is what he is. I'm operating like he's 36 because physically that's how it feels. I don't know how long this guy's going to be healthy. Also, Nick, he could teach Embiid about winning, about taking better care of your body. I'm not saying he's terrible at that, but clearly he's got health issues. And he could teach Tyrese Maxey about being more professional. And again, I think he's professional, but he's young. Yeah. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. You can learn that from LeBron. So not only could it pay dividends immediately, but also in the future with those two players.
Yeah, so you mentioned Bronny. Like this is the spot I've been hoping LeBron goes to. This is where I wanted him to go when he signed with the Lakers. This is where because I think it makes sense. There's a lot of, I think, good benefits to being in Philadelphia. I also think it's a sneaky, cool NBA history as far as iconic players, but not nearly as much winning as a team, you know what I mean, of that history should have expected. But Iverson's an icon. Dr. J and Moses are two of the greatest players ever. Wilt played there. Mm-hmm. I think.
Shout out to Charles Barkley.
Charles, no, my apologies. Barkley's a legend as well. I didn't mean to leave him out. If it was reported that Bronny is working out with Philly, then my antennae really would be up. I think this makes the most sense. I think this is, of all the teams, the best chance he has to win a championship, and they can pay him. But it seems like everyone that knows is saying the same thing, that he's not going to Philadelphia.
Really, it's antennas there?
It's antennae.
Josh.
AE, 100%. You're going to be dead wrong on two facts.
Josh gave me the thumbs down on that one.
Next up, Thunder. Okay, so it's interesting because, listen, I see a lot of pros and cons for LeBron James signing with the Sixers. One, if he goes there and wins, he is an absolute hero to a massive city with a massive fan base. That alone now only builds his brand even bigger than it already is, right? His brand is already massive, but it only grows. And you will have unconditional love and diehards. Any of the Philly fans who were anti-LeBron over the years would instantly become LeBron mega fans. No doubt in my mind. He would have no pull of his legacy. It would only elevate his legacy because he's bringing a starving franchise for a championship, a franchise that has done nothing for years. It'll be very similar to, honestly, like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not exactly identical, of course, but it would have a lot of same parallels. And it would be, right, he'd get a statue, would probably have his number retired, like that I don't think he gets if he goes to a Phoenix or if he wins really anywhere else. I just can't see it, honestly. And Philly is a massive city. So it's not one of these smaller pocket cities where now he's going to either be bored or not have a lot of famous people there, like whatever it may be. There's a lot of glitz and glamour in Philly. Again, like I said, it's a massive sports city with a lot of big names there. And if he joins the Sixers, it's not like he's joining an already made contending team, right? Like if he goes to some of these other teams, he could be seen as ring chasing or trying to attach his wagon or whatever to the horse, whatever the saying is. I don't really know. That he's doing that. That's definitely a possibility if he signs with some of these other teams. Let's say he decided to go to OKC or something, like, I don't know, right? Like, they would be like, well, dude, that's like a ready-made team. That team was balling out. They're just young. Like, it would just hit differently. Or even if he already joins with a Kevin Durant, who obviously already has multiple rings, or if he joins with the Steph Curry, who obviously has multiple rings, it's different. He joins the Sixers. None of them got rings. No one. So that's where a lot of the positives come from. But here's the biggest negative. he's banking on Joel Embiid staying healthy. If Joel Embiid goes down, the Sixers are on winning. They're not even coming close to winning. Granted, that conference is not super strong, but if Joel Embiid goes down, LeBron at this point in his career is not going to be good enough with the Sixers to carry that team. They're just not. Maybe if that team stayed exactly the same and you add LeBron, that would maybe be one thing. But you're obviously going to have to move on some pieces to make room for LeBron. Like they said, Tobias Harris. And even though Tobias Harris isn't this great elite player, if you were still somehow to keep him, have him come off the bench or something, I mean, like that's great. Are you kidding me? If he becomes like your fifth option now and you truly never have to rely on him to like have a 20-30 point game for you to win, then you're golden. If you have him at the fourth or fifth option, that's great. That would be a great spot for Tobias. But since you're kind of have to replace him, then I think, but again, I just can't see LeBron saying, okay, I only have a few more years at this, and now I'm going to go with one of the most injury-prone players of all time in Joel Embiid. I just don't know if LeBron James is going to do that because he's already kind of had to deal with that to a large degree with Anthony Davis. So it's just hard for me to imagine that that's what he's going to sign up for. He would be better off actually in that regard in terms of health-wise and stuff like that, and chance of winning would be like an OKC because they're all young and healthy and don't have those injury issues. Or I'm trying to think of other random teams that are a little bit more random and not like staying with the Lakers or because even going to Golden State is kind of a risk because you're like, well, how much left in the tank does Steph have? How much left in the tank does Draymond have? Steph is just a rolled ankle away from missing 30 games, right? Like that is the benefit of finding some of these younger players that you know are really, really good and mature, but also young enough where their body's really resilient and can really bounce back. That's always the balance of trying to play with youth and experience, of trying to find someone. That's why when you're in your prime, it's perfect. You're mature, you're healthy, you can bounce back from injury, but you're also mature and old enough where you know what to do. You're not making the dumb mistakes that you made when you were 22 years old. So I just don't know if LeBron James is going to sign up for that. But that's where another team that makes sense actually technically would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I think people would also see that as being like, you're joining a team that went to the Western Conference Finals, right? Like, I think people would take issue with that. So it all depends on what he wants. Does he just want to play with his son? Does he want to win another ring? Does he care how he gets another ring? Because if he goes to another team, like let's say the Celtics lose, and he's like, all right, I'll join the Celtics. Who the heck's going to beat us there? Or if he joins the Knicks, and they keep that team completely intact, but they just add LeBron James, pretty sure the Knicks are going to be pretty formidable as well. But again, it just all depends on what he thinks the narrative will be depending on which team he will join. And I think the narrative for joining the Sixers would not be, oh my God, he's just joining a team because now it's going to guarantee a win. Like, no one could say that about the Sixers and Joel Embiid. They just can't. So that's where that benefit really, really comes from. But ultimately, it's going to decide to what does LeBron James want. Does he care about the narrative? Does he just want another ring or two for that matter? Does he just want to play with the son? Does he just want to actually have fun and play ball in a glamorous way? And if that's the case, then it's really LA. Because then even when he's losing or if he's not winning another ring, he's still surrounded by celebrity royalty and all the billionaires of the world, right? And it's still the Los Angeles Lakers. So I just can't imagine him wanting to play his final years in potentially a smaller market unless it's going to be to like truly rip off some wins in terms of like NBA final wins. But besides that, I just can't see him doing that. But unless he really is just like, listen, man, this is my career. My last couple of years, I'm just going to be trying to play with my son. You guys continue your whole GOAT debate. I'm balling with my son. Which also would be pretty cool because then that also kind of gives him, in a way, I don't want to say it's a cop-out because I think it's also really cool if that's the actual true motivating factor to just play with your son. But it could also just be like, hey, you don't judge me on these next couple of years because I just want to be with my son. Kind of like how people don't judge Michael Jordan for his Wizards years because it was just like, hey, I got only so much left in the tank. I just want to still play. So don't judge me. Don't compare me to the old Jordan. I think that's what LeBron gets by playing with his son. So it'll be really interesting. I really have no idea, but it doesn't sound like the Sixers are going to be able to get Bronny because apparently he's refused workouts with everyone except for 3 teams. It was the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers, and for the life of me, I don't remember what the third team was. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that the Sixers should try to get LeBron? And do you think LeBron should try to get to the Sixers? And if not, where do you think LeBron should go? And what do you think LeBron's goal should be? To win a championship, play with his son, or just go out and having fun? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.